We're going to share some notes here this morning on a project that Sasha and I are working on. It's kind of an intersection of the two areas of our interest, so we're working on this bed together. What we're going to do this morning is plant standard production onions, and we got these starts. I'm going to put a link in the description bar. Our good friend Eric, he's down in the Hudson Valley, runs an amazing farm, and he is doing these flats. He might be sold out for this spring, but you should know about him. He's an amazing organic farmer, really beautiful starts. And so we have all these onions that need to find a home. And then on the flip side, as a nursery, I've got these buckets. I talk about this in another video where I store bunches of different varieties of tree seeds in the fall in layers of wood chips in these buckets with holes drilled, and then I bury them outside for the winter. And this is a just beautiful example. Here's a seedling Carpathian walnut from central New York State, just waking up. This is about the most ideal moment to plant this, and these need to find homes ASAP. Another few days and that radical will be very long and very fragile. And so what we're going to do is plant these nuts with these onions so that the onions can get first light early in the season, grow for a while, and confer an aromatic basically covering or cloak for these nuts. So this spring I did a big trial with nuts and apple and peach and apricot, where I planted them all into containers on our driveway in the hopes of being able to air root prune them. And so far we have lost massive numbers of those seedlings to red squirrels and chipmunks. And so this is kind of a last-ditch effort to preserve some of these plants. I'm trusting that there's further information from those creatures robbing so many nuts and seeds. I bet we're going to find them all over nursery beds. If we lose them, we lose them. It's a really good lesson. But this feels a lot more secure. So let me actually get to it and show you what the process will be. So Sasha went through and did some initial cleanup in this bed, and we're using a hori, which I'll talk about in another video, to just go through and get the perennial weeds out. This bed in some ways is a little bit interesting or challenging in that when this bed was first made, this is a hugel mound bed. There are still some logs in here that haven't fully dissolved. We can work around those, knowing that if we get another drought summer, these will actually save our crops. You can see the bark from this tree has turned into soil. So hugel mounds work. We talk about this in other videos too, that it just takes a while for things to break down. But we should be good enough. So what we would do is go through and make a planting trench, and the very first set of plants to go in will be the onions. And we'll give them nice generous spacing, kind of standard garden practice with these. Right down the line. You get the idea. I can pause there, and then at a similar spacing to what we would do for the onions, go through, take these beautiful seeds of trees that want to grow, and I can see that little tongue, that little radical is starting to point in the direction it wants to grow. So I'll make, instead of pushing it in, I'll make a little trough and gently place it in, inch or two down. We'll bring more soil to it later. Here's an example of one that's just a little bit further along. If I push that in, I'm going to break that taproot right off. So we're a little bit behind schedule planting these. So I'm going to make the recess for it, gently ease it in, and let the soil fall back. We'll keep this trench open. You can see in here the logs and the other debris have rotted down to a point where the soil is just about exquisite. And I can use the wood chips that we used for banking these tree seeds as mulch as I pick down through. Let's see. So I can see here 3 different stages. This one hasn't woken up yet. This one's just beginning to. And I can see inside that it's got a nice light yellow color. That's a viable seed. And this one, a little further along, really viable. These are ideal planting. And I can be a little bit quicker, looser with these. 1, 2.
So you're planting it with the opening facing down?
With the opening facing parallel to the ground. What happens is the tree seed, the root comes out first and goes to the center of the earth, and from that same point emerges the growth tip, the new tree. So I don't plant it with the root facing down, because then the root goes down, but the tree has to go up, make a 180-degree turn. So on its side, the root out and down, the tree out and up.
Oh.
Aha.
I couldn't tell.
So yeah, they're laying on their sides. So we'll pause here for a moment. We'll get a whole row done and then chat about it. First row done with 20 some odd onions and 20 some odd Carpathian walnuts. And Sasha with an awesome Einstein shirt.
It glows in the dark.
It glows in the dark. We can work all night. So we'll do another row of onions, then another row of nuts. And just keep repeating until we've gone through this whole bucket, which has about 200 to 300 future trees in one dumpstered bucket. So now the whole bed is completely filled with rows of onions and Carpathian walnuts, probably maybe 200 of each. Sasha watered it really deeply. What I'll plan to do is go through and in between the onions where the walnuts actually are planted is to pour straight urine, a small amount of straight urine over each of those rows just to keep them very protected until the onions get large enough to continue to protect. And we'll do an update video on how this grows. And Sasha had a really brilliant idea for the edge. What are you thinking about doing?
I dug all this chamomile out of our walkway in the main garden because we planted it a bunch of years ago and now it reseeds itself everywhere, which is very nice, but there's a little much of it.
Yeah.
So I thought we could transplant that along either end of this bed and it would be beautiful and also be nice for the onions and probably the walnuts.
So Sasha's finishing up with the last touches of this beautiful additional design of the chamomile on the edges, and then this bed ought to be done. You can see we planted around some areas where logs still persist, but that'll work just fine. Here's a log that turned entirely to turkey tails last year, so this hugel mound space is really far along in the process of becoming beautiful, rich soil. And so this bed is just about done. We'll continue on with similar patterns. So here's a bed that was set to freshly grafted apples from this winter, and there's space in between each row that can be planted to leeks. So we'll do that. So we'll have some alliums supporting these young beings as their new growth comes on. And then another bed where you see walking onions used as boundary plantings in between patches of American persimmons that were sown in. Again, same pattern. In here it transitions where we have seedling sweet Sicily, strongly aromatic, to the north of another patch of American persimmon, and then the pattern again of production annual onions with stripes of heart nuts throughout in here. So high value nursery stock with high value annual aromatic as a combo. Thanks for watching.